Hi, Wonder Class, and welcome to our maths lesson on Thursday, the 4th of February 2021. So, what are we going to be learning about in today's lesson? We will soon be finding out. But before we begin the rest of our learning, I want you to take a moment to have a go at answering these arithmetic questions. Remember, you can pause the video, time yourself, see if you can beat yesterday's timing. When you press play, I will then reveal the answers to you. Okay, so you should have had a moment to have a look at the answers to your questions. So I am going to read out the answers to you. So number 1, 2 times 7 equals 14. Number 2, what is 24 shared into 3, which is basically asking you 24 divided by 3, which is 8. Number 3, what is 999 as a Roman numeral? It's CMXCIX. Number 4, what is the next number in the sequence? It's 16 because it's going up in threes. Number 5, 4 times 9 equals 27. Number 6, 72 divided by 8 equals 8. Number 7, what is 2 kilometers in meters? It's 2,000 meters. Number 8, what is 5,843 add 3,232? The answer equals 9,075. Number 9, what is 9,875 take away 4,555? The answer is 5,320. And number 10, 42 divided by 6 equals 7. So let's have a look at what we're learning about today. So the learning objective is, can I show equivalent fractions using diagrams? Which means for today's lesson, I am going to recommend that you all have a ruler. So here's a quick recap. What is the shaded fraction? So let's have a look. For the shaded fraction here, we have a quarter. So use the fraction rule to find 3 more fractions that are equivalent. So we've got a quarter, we've got 2 eighths, 3 twelfths, and 4 sixteenths. So we can see that it's the amount that's in that line is the bottom number, the denominator, and the amount that's shaded is then the top number, which is called the numerator. So it says use the diagram to complete the fraction. So we can see equivalent fractions are what's the same. So a half, so 1 over 2 is a half. So this diagram here shows us a half. Now what does this show us over here? So can you see we've got it's out of 12. So what's half of 12 basically? So the answer will be 6/12. So it will be 6/12. And the same over here. So we've got 2/3. We've got 1, 2, 3. So we've got three that's not shaded. And then we've got 3 lines and it's split up. And then we have 2 that are shaded. So that's 1, 2. So it's 2/3. Sorry, that I've really got my words muddled up just now. And then we need to have a look over here. So we have 12 in total, and how many are shaded? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 8/12. So they are the same. So 2/3 is the same as 8/12, and 1/2 is the same as 6/12. So it says sketch your own bar diagrams to complete the fraction. So I've got my board here, and I'm going to expand my screen just a little bit so that you can see what I'm about to show you. So on my board over here, I am going to start off with the half. So I'm going to draw, and I'm going to split my box. Here I'm going to make a half. So here's my half. So here you can see, oh, that's not the best actually. Let's go a little bit across. So there's 1/2. So this is a half and this is a half. And then it wants me to split it into 6. So I'm going to split that in half. So what is the answer to 2 halves? How many does 2 halves make? 1, 2, 3, 4. Out of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So a half is the same as 1, 2, 3, 6, because I've shaded 3 and it's equivalent. So a half is the same as 3, 6, because if you look carefully, what I've done is I've made my half, and then I've made a box underneath with a half point the same, and then each side is worth 6. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. In total, we've got 6, and I've shaded the halfway point, which is now showing me it's 3, 6. Let's see and have a go at the next one. So the next one is a third. So I have my rectangle. I'm going to split that into half, but now I'm going to put that into thirds. So I'm going to have 3 of the same. So 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. That's the first part of what I'm doing. And then how many 12ths? So this now needs to be split into 12ths. Now let's have a think. What goes into, how many times does 3 go into 12? It goes in 4 times. Well done. So we know that each box will be 4. 1, and again. So 1/3 is here. So how many is the same as 1/3? So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the same as 4/12. Can you see that? So I've got 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. And the question is asking me what's the equivalent fraction of 1/3? And the equivalent fraction is 4/12. But I also know in order to get from 3 to 12, I times it by 4, so it would be 4/12. And I'm just going to do the final one, which is 3/4. So I would have the same again and split down the middle, and I would have a half, a half, and a half. So this would be a quarter, a quarter, a quarter, and a quarter. So it's asking me to shade 3/4, so it would be 1, 2, 3/4. Can you see that I've got my 1, 2, 3, 3/4? So I know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 4/4 makes a whole, and 1, 2, 3, 3/4 is 3/4. And if I take away that, I've got 2/4, which makes a half. So let's have a go at splitting this up. So I'm going to need 3/4. So I'm going to have 4. There's my halfway point. 1, 2, 3. That's 3/4. And what is it equal to? So I'm going to now split it up. So I've got 4, and I'm going to split this into 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So how many is the same? What's the same as 3/4? We are going to have 1, 2, 3. 2, 4, 6. So it's going to be 3/4 equals 6/8. Now, it is a bit of a tricky concept to understand, which is why I would suggest using a fraction rule as quite helpful, just in order to go back if you need to refresh your minds on understanding how we find equivalent fractions. So, just as I had said it, I did forget that this was about to appear. So yeah, let's have a look over here. So when you do this, you're going to see a pattern. So 1/3 is the same as how many 6? So we could go to 1/3 and then find 1/6, which is here. So it's the same as 2/6 because it's in line with each other. So 2/6. What's 2/6 the same as? If we go to 2/6, 1, 2, What's it the same as if we're going to 12? It's the same as 1, 2, 3, 4. And the same goes again, it would be 5. So we can see a pattern that we're going up in. So you can also see that what's happening to the denominator is it's in the 3 times table. We're going 3 and 6. They're both in the 3 times table. So you can see that's how you can also use your times tables in order to help you. What's interesting to note would also be how you look at the fraction wall itself. And remember, we don't cut through a third because we can't cut the third in half. We actually have to go to straight where the line points are, and that's where you know you can split the times table wall. So let's see what rule we can come up with for equivalent fractions. So have a go at this. Pause the screen and have a go, and then I'm going to reveal the next part of it to you, which will show you the answers, and then we can have a talk about that as well. Okay, so I've got the answers here. What rule can we come up with for equivalent fractions? So you can see a quarter equals 2/8. 2/8 equals 3/12. 4, and then we've got 4/4, which is basically 1 whole. And on the other side, we have the same thing that's going. So 25/100 equals 50/200. So have a think about the rule that we can come up with for equivalent fractions and how to help you find out the answers when you are carrying out these questions. So here is your activities for today. So we've got 3 questions. The first one says complete the equivalent fractions. The second question is find 3 ways to make fractions equivalent. And question number 3 is a worded problem question using fractions. So have a go at these questions and we will go through them in the live lesson to find out exactly how we're working with these fractions and what other methods we can use to make it a bit easier for everybody. So that's all from me today. Remember to use your fraction rule to help you go back and have a look and your times tables, as it's really key when looking at fractions, especially equivalent fractions. That is all from me today, guys, and I will see you all in the next lesson. Bye, everyone.